All right. Welcome to another episode of Nation 80 Comics. I would say podcast, but we're actually live streaming, trying something a little bit different to see how this works. I got to find out what I need to look at when I'm talking. I'm looking at my monitor and then I realize it looks weird. So I'm trying to look at the camera to let you know that I'm actually involved. This is going to be interesting. With me today, and like always, is my co-host Michael Merton. What's up, Mike? How you doing?
What's going on, man? We are back here for another episode of Nation 80 Comics, or as you said before, this is a kind of a test bed of what's going hopefully will be how the future of our content will be. So I've got the blue and the purple lighting with the Black Panther, hoodie on.
Seems like you're trying to set a mood, Mike.
That totally was not intentional. But then I got the Star Wars X-wing and then the A-wing up there. That kind of throws it off. But yeah, this is an organic process, and we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, we're kind of like testing this out because we haven't done anything like this before. So what we're going to do is we'll start off by going over one of our headlines that we had set up for this week anyway. And our first headline, we're going to be talking about the Punisher and Jessica Jones and basically the whole Netflix Marvel universe as of right now. And we already knew this was going to happen, but of course it's finally been announced that the Punisher and Jessica Jones have been canceled by Netflix. You'd be an idiot if you didn't see this coming. But right now, it looks like Netflix has one more obligation to hold, and that's going to be Jessica Jones season 3. So once we get season 3 of Jessica Jones, then bam, that's it. But don't fear, because Netflix already bought Millar World from Mark Millar. So that universe is going to be coming to Netflix. And, pretty much Netflix wants to own those properties and not kind of share the wealth with someone else like Marvel. So I mean, what else were you expecting? And plus, with the Disney Plus, and then we talked about Hulu in one of our previous episodes. It's all a power play right now. Mike, what do you think so far?
Yeah, like you said, we saw this coming. It stinks. We saw it with the news of Luke Cage first, and then Iron Fist, the Defenders, Daredevil, now Punisher, and now Jessica Jones. So we saw this coming. We knew that there was a divide between the ones that were the creative side of the show and the ones that were the corporate side of the show. And as often goes in this business, one hand did not shake the other. So it just didn't work out. So it sucks to see these shows go. What's even more, I think, disappointing is that even with the merger of Disney and Fox, and the now Disney is owning 60% of Hulu, we're not going to see these shows transfer over to, they've already made it clear that it's not going to come over to their streaming service, Disney Plus, but we're not going to see them in Hulu, which is disappointing because we did hear some comments from the Disney higher ups talking about that they were going to start a rated R, I guess, type of division to house movies like The Punisher, or not The Punisher, but Deadpool. So it's cool that they're doing that, but if you're gonna have a division for that kind of content, why wouldn't you have a division for these kind of shows? So it just wasn't in the works, and you mentioned it in a few episodes before that, if they're not going to spend the money for it, if they're not going to have the same kind of zeal for it, then don't even bother bringing these guys over. So it stinks, but we did see this coming. Disney does have a bunch of other content, on the way, whether it be the Loki show. We already know there's a Boba Fett show coming up. And then we do know there is a Winter Soldier show coming up. So they've got a lot of stuff coming up. But it is kind of sad to see that, especially, and we were very disappointed that Luke Cage left. we thought there was a lot of promise there, a lot of future there. Daredevil, and then Punisher. So it stinks, but this is just how the way the business goes, and hopefully, maybe eventually in the future we'll get something else.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the way that I look at this is that it was a great experiment. Realistically, more than anything, because what was it about? I don't know, how long has it been? Like 5 years since the initial. I think I was still in the Middle East at the time, so it had to be well over 5 years when we got Daredevil season 1. And we didn't know what to expect. We didn't think Daredevil was going to translate well after everything that happened with the movie and things like that. So the assumption was that were these shows going to hold up? And yes, I'm not going to act like they were all Emmy-winning shows, but to see that translation onto the small screen, plus seeing what the WB offered with the Flash and Arrow, right, and Legends of Tomorrow, I think this was a success. If the more and more that I sit back and think about it, like, I'm almost kind of cool with letting these shows end right here and not bringing them back and just giving us some other content. Because mind you, Disney Plus is going to give us this Loki show, this Winter Soldier and Falcon show, and then they got so much more. The Mandalorian's coming, and they got so much more content coming. Then we still got a gang of Marvel stuff probably coming to Hulu and to whoever else is the highest bidder. I don't know if, to me, it's like the perfect opportunity to say, let's go and stop this right now and move on. Because no matter how you feel about, well, you can feel a way about whatever, like, for example, but no matter how you feel, it's a success. They all made it to film, and they even did a crossover, right? They might not have been well produced or hit the areas that they were supposed to, but it's out there in the world now, and I don't know, you can't go wrong with that. And they're always going to still be on Netflix. So like right now, I'm way behind. I haven't finished a lot of Marvel shows because I've been secretly freaking binge watching The Expanse, trying to get season 3 out the way before season 4 gets here. And so, I'm in the tutelage of that, maybe there might, especially in my schedule now, there's just too much for me to watch anyway. So I'm cool with just letting it ride.
Right. And kind of one of the things too was that, these shows were canceled under the auspice of that the ratings were just dipping so much. And that's cool and all, but when you take it to the fact that it's Netflix, and you think about how much content they put out, it's hard, like you just said, it's hard to keep up with the amount of shows that are out there, especially when, they're debuting new seasons, but you're not seeing them until either the next day or they're just not put on the main page right away. So, so I think that it does suck. I think that you can take a breath from this kind of thing. I do wish that Disney had a plan to bring the Defenders, back in. Just because it could have gotten pretty cool. It could have gotten interesting, especially with Luke Cage. Luke Cage is not just a Defender; he's also an Avenger, and he's led the Avengers. He led his own Avengers team during the Civil War. So it would be cool to expand that mythos within the MCU. But as you said, there's so much out there. You're watching The Expanse. I'm actually watching The Umbrella Project on Netflix right now. So, it is kind of nice to not have to worry about that. I also think that the way that DC Universe puts out their shows, they don't give you the whole season right away. So it makes you come back for more. All right. Whereas Netflix, you might watch that whole season in a weekend, and then you're like, oh, now I got to wait a year or a year and a half. I mean, look at Stranger Things.
Yes.
We've been waiting almost a year and a half for Stranger Things now.
Yeah.
Might as well be Game of Thrones. I mean, people out there, just talking to my boy today, they're trying to get ready for Game of Thrones. They left it on a cliffhanger. They had to wait a year and a half to watch Game of Thrones.
I was gonna say that's
so,
another show I need to catch up on before
yeah,
it finally comes out here. Yeah, there's a lot out there. So you
yeah.
know, and you know what the other thing is? There was a question that popped up in my head where I was just gonna ask that, like, and I don't know why my mind is slipping it, but you know, on another side of that is that sometimes you know maybe Netflix isn't the platform we think it should be for when it comes to Marvel shows. I know everyone has Netflix, but you know, I think it's kind of a good idea that Netflix is leaving Marvel shows behind and they're going somewhere else. And yes, it would be better for them to stay all on one platform. Like, look, make Disney Plus, but we know what Disney Plus is going to be. It's going to be only a kid-friendly network with kid-friendly shows. I don't even think that we're going to get, you know, and that makes me a little nervous about the Mandalorian and the Avengers shows, because I don't know how that's going to do on Disney Plus. Like, is it going to be action packed, or is it going to follow the same Disney platform when it comes to TV shows? And like, I can't think of an action based Disney show that I've been very excited for in ever. Maybe
Right.
and maybe the only thing that comes to mind is some old animated stuff, but you know, that's like Darkwing Duck and Gargoyles. But you know, I can't think of anything as of late that makes me go, I need to follow this on the way through everything. So
Right. Yeah. I mean, you think about you know, how the movies are, you know, in the MCU, and those are fine. But they don't necessarily translate to the small screen. We haven't seen that translate to small screen yet. So if they follow the same type of routine or formula that they've done with the movies, especially with Loki and I think Scarlet Witch is supposed to have one too, right?
I think Scarlet Witch and Vision are having have a show coming.
Yeah, so them, and then the Winter Soldier, you know. So if the shows are like the movies, I mean, I mean, I don't want to throw Shield under the table, Agents of Shield under the table like that, you know. But you know, hopefully it's not as, you know, because Agents of Shield is a fine show, but they try too hard to be serious that they're almost too, I don't want to say goofy or campy, but it's not as, it doesn't have that same tone like the MCU movies. So
it plays just like an ABC show. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Like, you won't see Hannibal on ABC, you know.
No.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You're right. I'm kind of nervous about that too, and we'll see how it goes. Yes, you can't have Punisher on Disney streaming service. You just can't, you know. So you have Marvel shows on Disney streaming service now. You've got Marvel shows on Hulu already, and then you know, Fox already has their Marvel show on there as well. So whether that, you know, once this whole buyout is complete, is considered part of Disney as well. Well, I guess it would be, because it's Fox TV service is becoming, or Fox Entertainment TV is becoming part of Disney. So I guess that'll fall into that too. But as far as a platform goes, yes, it would be nice just to have everything on one platform instead of us having to go to Hulu for this, or Disney streaming service for this, or, you know, something else for something else. So we'll see. And you know, it at the end of the day, it still kind of sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we're going to end this discussion here. We just wanted to try out this live streaming thing. We're hoping to get into a whole lot more live streaming very soon. Make sure to check us out on our social media platforms. Find us right here at YouTube at Nation 80. And then you can find us everywhere else at Nation 80. Matter of fact, I need to add that @ to YouTube. But you can find us at Nation 80 everywhere, whether it is Twitter or Instagram. You know what? Facebook is going to be Facebook. We'll either watch it, we'll post, or we won't post. But everywhere else, you know, we'll be around. But thanks for tuning in for our first attempt at this. and we will catch you on the next one.